You just keep doing it. You're back in within 10 seconds and you just keep working. So for isolation training, like, yeah, whatever, it works. For strength training, this is where it's huge. Something I want to follow up on. So I mentioned this in yesterday's video. I just mentioned very quickly cluster training, and I didn't really give much explanation to it. It's kind of important to break it down a little bit more so people actually understand it. If you're in the middle of a set, oftentimes people will think of it as a drop set. So a drop set is so you're trying to do 20 curls with 20 pounds and you get to number 10 and you're like, shit, I can't lift this anymore. So you drop down to, I don't even know what weight we said, maybe drop down to 15s, and then you do the last 10 with 15s. So that's a drop set. You're dropping the weight to finish the set at the prescribed number of reps. Cluster training is a little bit different, where you actually just take a break in the middle of the set, but you do the same weight. So if you're trying to do 20 reps of curls at 20 pounds and you get to 12 and you're like, I'm totally trashed, you put the weight down, but you get back in within 10 seconds and you just keep doing those curls. Even if you need to break every 2 or 3, you just keep doing it. You're back in within 10 seconds and you just keep working. If you get back into the reps within 10 seconds of breaking, you get the same training effect that you would if you did it unbroken. So for isolation training, like, yeah, whatever, it works. For strength training, this is where it's huge. So everyone knows that like 3 to 5 reps, that's where you want to be working if you're trying to get stronger without putting on a lot of muscle mass. So if you're trying to get relative strength, 3 to 5 reps is kind of the world you're living in, and that's a pretty high percentage of your 1 rep max. So it's always going to be really challenging. The biggest challenge is working at that really high percentage. So with cluster training, you can usually work at a slightly higher percentage and still get the same training effect. So let's say you're doing a 4x4 at 300 pounds for deadlifts. That 300 pounds, that's 90% of your 1 rep max. So you're working exactly where you should be. You're working 4 reps, which is 90% of your 1 rep max. You're gonna do 4 sets there. With cluster training, you can work at a slightly higher percentage. So say you bump up, I'm gonna have to do the math. So 4 reps at 300 pounds is gonna be roughly 327 or 330 for your 1 rep max. So if you can bump that percentage up even just 1% or 2% by cluster training, you're gonna see a huge benefit in that. So you would go from, instead of doing a 4x4 at 300, you would do a 4x4 at 305, and that would get you to like 91 or 92% of your 1 rep max. But the difference is you would do 2 or 3 pulls at 305, that slightly higher percentage. You're a little bit closer to that 1 rep max. You would do like 1 or 2 reps, set the weight down and rest for 10 seconds. You get back into your next rep, do another one until you get 4 done. So you're cluster training by breaking it up, but you're still gonna be getting the training effect, and you still get 4 lifts at a higher percentage of what you normally would have done. So cluster training just allows you to work at a higher percentage of your 1 rep max. If you can get an extra like 5, 10 pounds, that's gonna be like an extra 1 or 2% for 4 reps or for 5 reps or for 3 reps. That's gonna be a huge benefit. So try it out. Main thing, get back in within 10 seconds. Just don't take a leisurely break and count it as cluster training. You can't do 1 rep, come back a minute later and do another pull and count that as cluster training. You gotta stay at the bar. It's basically enough time to set the bar down, stand up, take a big deep breath, reset yourself, and get ready for the next pull. So give it a try, see how it works.